that you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love.
Hello there. Welcome to the Flash and Blade Live. I'm Siobhan. The journey has not ended here, for his spirit claimed by death knell's chime lies waiting still to cross once more a sea of stars and sail the tides of time. Let's meet the plucky girl assistants. Down there we have the Brian. Hello, the Brian. Cheer me up. Tell me you're not American today.
No. Today I'm a Belf.
He's Southern Canadian.
Yes, he's from the South Canada Sea, we can wish. Over there, just sat there. Look, there he is. It's your actual Dr. Sinister. Hello.
Hello there. And today I have my friend Godzilla with me.
And Godzilla.
I actually have the big version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
the one from the 70s.
oh dear. Anyway, and down in the bottom right here, well, apparently his heart ticks like a watch, and he's confused by stairs. It is the demolished area known as Spanky.
Stare up or down. If they don't move, you don't know which way to use them.
That is a very fair comment. Yes, they need to be arrows.
I'm saying.
And if you look at them sideways, it's a real head.
A mess. It's very stressful.
We'll do this quickly here. How's your week been, Andrew?
Busy.
All right, that's good. Is good busy? Bad busy?
Yeah, it's been okay.
Fair enough. Brian? You're smirking. Somebody sent you something.
7 days.
It's been 7 days.
So I feel kind of dirty right now. So
yes, we'll come to that, love. Yeah, you need to clean yourself. Spanky, how's your week been?
Yes, ma'am. It would be difficult to put into one word.
Oh, can you try and string a sentence together then? Or is that asking too much?
That's asking off. After the whole stairs thing, I'm still intimidated. So I'm going to go with, it could have been worse. It could have been better. Best of times, worst of times. It was a week of extremes, actually. There you go.
Is it a Russian novel?
Almost. Dostoevsky, yes.
And the cold and the dark and the long, long snow.
There you go.
Right then. I'm going to have to do this. Don't want to, but I'm going to have to. Boys and girls and other people. Sorry. I'm a little bit... Yeah. We've lost somebody else. Professor Dave Keep passed a couple of days ago. Those of you who are long-term listeners of the Flash and Blade podcast will remember, yeah, exactly, Andrew, will remember Professor Dave turning up practically every week, had his own jingle. And indeed, I'm going to tell this story. I'm sort of responsible for him and Elizabeth getting together, because Dave was looking to start Professor Dave's Ark in Space, and he needed a co-host, and I suggested Elizabeth, and it went from there. And their love story was a fairy story, quite frankly. I mean, he moved over to the States, but they had so much trouble with visas and the like. I think he had 3 going away parties, thanks to the American government.
You can't rely on them.
Yeah.
Ever.
3. I mean, it's close enough for government work. But Dave, I'm trying to describe, big-hearted, gentle as well, though you'd think sometimes he wasn't. He was. He had a filthy laugh. Sid James's laugh, essentially. He could be a grumpy old git deliberately sometimes. But he was always an old fool. I'm not going to go into too much more tonight. We're planning... I still have no idea what to call it. We're in the very, very early stages of putting together some sort of show where as many of his friends and podcast buddies can all come together and just share memories and be with each other. And the good thing about that is because it'll be on Twitch, there'll be a chat room, which means those people who don't have microphones or cameras can just come and they can still join in. So that will hopefully extend the reach a little bit. Our love, of course, goes out to Elizabeth. Lilibet. I've sort of got over the shock of it now. Saying that, I have hardly talked about it to anyone. Quickly with Adam, and then tonight. So, yeah, one of the greats has left us. I'll give you more details when I know them about the wake/memorial show thing. But it's not going to be for a little while yet, so I wouldn't worry too much. Right, okay. Well, that sort of explains how my week's been. Do you want something normal?
As well.
May as well. Garden Gate. It's the Garden Gate saga. Hang on, I'm just popping out the chat room because pop out chat. Thank you very much. Yes, that's what I'm after. There we go. That means I've now got chat. So I screwed up Streamlabs and I've now not got yeah, I've had to dig out the chat room. Spanky, have you got a minion? He's muted himself, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's muted himself. Yeah. Okay, so, the garden still hasn't been cleaned out. And the cleaner who was supposed to come round on Thursday phoned up to say she was too ill. So, no idea what's happening there. Blizzard, haven't heard back to them, though we think we've worked out where the account is. So, I have taken to playing World of Warcraft Ascension.
Brian,
2 years.
have you got enough for all of us?
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk with your mouth open.
Hey, I made pie. I'm going to eat the damn thing while it's still warm.
What sort of pie?
This is blueberry.
You eat weird things, you Americans.
They have to.
You think that's a weird pie?
It says the woman whose people eat pig trotters. Right. Okay. Yes, World of Warcraft. So I started playing WoW Ascension, which is one World of Warcraft.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Just because you caught the stream last night. Right. It's a free version of World of Warcraft, which has been built up by the fan base. Blizzard, it seems they must have given them the unofficial nod. What they've done is they've taken all the classes like Mage, Warlock, and Warrior, and this, and they've unlocked them, which means you can pick and choose from any thing you want, include as well as the talents. And it makes for really interesting leveling, I've got to admit, because you're picking and choosing stuff you wouldn't normally be able to choose, and it's good stuff. Like I say, I for the first time in a very long time, I spent the evening gaming last night, and that was World of Warcraft Ascension. Like I say, the only reason I'm playing Ascension is I got the taste for WoW, and I haven't got my main WoW account. However, Retta and the Brian joined me in chat last night. I appreciate that, little sausage.
That was for you.
Thank you very much. And because I was playing and I was streaming it just to test out things, and somehow when we were trying to do Two Fan Dinosaurs on Friday, we couldn't connect to Twitch to stream. And it was a Twitch problem, but somehow in trying to fix it, I've managed to screw settings up on my streaming software, which means I haven't got the chat box or the amount of people that are there or anything else like that. Also, this is actually 141, not 140. I also can't change the title of it. So, yes. But you watched that, and you and Retta were there criticising me left, right, and centre. And, oh dear, no, I wouldn't want to play that. No, can't. And then, there I am. I managed to reach level 40 on my character. And they turn round. Oh, you should have heard them. I'd made an alliance character. Brian.
The alliance scum.
I didn't have to say a word. There it is. However, after all this mockery and jiggery-pokery, Brian, what have you done?
Oh, I made a horde character just to show you the right way to play.
That's why you went on to WoW Ascension, just to show me the right way to play. That's very good of you. Well done,
Horde
you.
for life.
Yeah, Zug.
Work complete.
I'm busy. Right, so, yeah, we're in World of Warcraft Ascension at the moment, it seems. And Spanky's in there as well, I believe.
I peeped at it. I don't know if I'm in there again, but we'll see.
I really love
Just
the
getting
freedom.
used to Diablo Immortal.
Yeah,
Ascension.
I'm still playing that, but I haven't played much this week. Right, anything else happen? Oh, yes. I have made a contribution to Doctor Who. Hi, Retta. It was confirmed to me last night, and I have heard it, but I changed one word to the plural. That's my contribution to Doctor Who. It's, walk softly. You see? Walk softly. Just change one word. It's
And carry a big stick.
Supposed to carry a big stick. You forgot the stick.
And that's because I'm walking softly twice, which means I'm running softly.
There you go.
It's
Jogging.
a move action.
Move action instead of right.
Move attack, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Double move, right. That's good. Yeah, you can do that. 60 instead of 30. Go ahead.
Brian, can you do me a favour? Can you ban Retta, please?
No, I'm contractually obligated not to do that.
That's right. You can't.
Also, there's a
got
good
like
amount of
the
fear for
equivalent
my life
of-
if I were I to do that.
Mostly it's
He's
fear
got
for
the
the
equivalent
life.
of Robocop's directive number, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
One of the
that
four
does
prime
mean changing the
directors.
bulb? Right. So we're messing around with that at the moment, which I have to admit, I really enjoyed myself last night. I've sort of recreated a hunter, but I've got extra bits I couldn't have before, and it's working, which is really nice. But of course, if you're going to be on Horde, I'm going to have to start.
Horde for life, yo.
Yeah, did you start off in the Blood Elf area, or did you start off in the Troll and Orc area?
I'm in the Blood Elf area.
Oh, that's interesting. On the seasonal one, you don't. You start off. Oh, that's very interesting. I like the Blood Elf area. I think it's very pretty.
It's nice. It's pleasant. It's quiet. It's got a nice little background.
I like the Fantasia reference with the brooms sweeping the floor by themselves. That yes, it's got a lovely red and gold feel to it. We like that. Okay, I'm gonna have to create a Horde character now, am I? Oh, bloody hell. So, has anything else happened? No, quite frankly, everything's been well. My dad's still in hospital.
You've been asked to hold. Make a note. Doctor, you have something to add? Oh, yes.
Yes, new book is out. The re-illustrated version of a Doctor Who in an exciting adventure with the Daleks. I mean, it was illustrated before, but they've sort of gone to town on it now.
Woohoo!
So I'm just watching. I have a copy of it. I also have bought a copy. Well, I say I bought a copy. I've got a copy of it for Adam Purcell as a Christmas present.
Just open the cover and flip through the pages really quickly to see if we can get away with violating the copyright.
I don't think the stream's that good, actually. I really need to change the settings.
We don't have
If you
that
do
good.
it backwards,
There you
we're
go.
fine.
That's what I'm talking about. Do
Yeah.
it backwards. We're good.
Have you got Doctor Who
Stay
Celebration to hand?
Upstairs.
Oh, too late. It's you could have done the whole TARDIS going up the page.
I've got
thing.
2 copies of that. I've got the regular, and I've got one of the leather bound editions.
Oh, I've only got the original
Wow.
and signed by Debbie Watling when she came over to Jersey. My first autograph, apart from Terry Wogan. Oh no, apart from Roger Tongue from Crossroads. I was very young. Any more news this week? The diamond logo, the new diamond logo, has officially been classed as unworthy of the diamond logo.
No,
Brian,
you are
can
wrong.
we just see? Can we just see your T-shirt, please? That, all right. That is what this new diamond logo is.
Wrong.
I'm right.
It's all blue.
Wrong.
I'm
Dissension
right,
in the
and it's a
ranks.
hill I'll die on.
That's a good hill to die on.
Either way, I am unworthy of it.
Yeah, same here.
Fear not about the new diamond logo. There's no need to be worthy of that, for there is only one diamond logo you need to be worthy of, and you will never achieve it. But it is the eternal quest for worthiness that is
Yes,
the
see,
matter, and the friends
That's like
you
the
made
Sandman
along the way.
hell. The only reason why hell holds promise for the future, why the damn stay in line, is because they can look up and see heaven. Right?
think it's
That's
not-
the thing. So if I was worthy once and now I forever have to aspire to being worthy again, I'm just going to be happy, getting whipped and disemboweled or
It's
whatever.
It's nothing to do with the friends you made along the way. It's the corpses you left strewn behind you.
I always love the corpses.
I prefer putting them up on pikes.
They stack so pretty. You can make chairs and stuff out of it.
It,
It's cool.
it provides shade for the animals
Or-
on the ground.
Or stood here to make the trenches appear fully manned.
Exactly.
Really?
Stack them up, close them. Once rigor sets in, you're in business. And if there's a good freeze, you can get really creative, let me tell you.
Oh dear, a mutual friend has picked up on the whole oh really thing, by the way, Sin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought you might have wanted to know that.
Thank you.
That's all right. Yes, he was howling about it last night. A 4.5-hour phone call after midnight last night. I say phone call, there were 4 calls because we kept
Did
having
you tell him about the 19th?
yes, we're changing it to the 20th. He's not sure if he can make it, though, because he's supposed to be working. However, he really wants to, and I've told him, no, don't give up money. But push comes to shove, we'll just have to do it the following weekend,
Okay.
you know? Or maybe the Friday. How would
Which
you...
Friday?
The 18th.
That's my funeral day.
Of course it is. I'm sorry. And of course that's why we couldn't do full circle. Yes, Two Fan Dinosaurs, we're still trying to get hold of Andrew Smith, trying to pin him down to get a date. The trouble is we've only got one day of the week we can do this, because Sundays we're doing this. During the week, Sinister works, and he's absolutely exhausted by the time he gets home. Friday night is basically it. We can't do Saturdays because apparently Andrew Smith can't do Saturdays. So all we've got is one night a week to aim for and hope that everyone can make it. It's sort of slowly going back. We were going to do The Awakening, 2-parter, just as a fill-in. But like I said, something went very wrong with the whole Twitch thing on Friday.
The Awakening is that's the one where everyone becomes terribly politically correct.
That's
1
bad.
second.
That
The
is,
Awakening.
yeah, that's bad, quite frankly. They're allowed. They're kind of heavy and trouble to move over any distance. If you know what Spanky's talking about, please do feel free to put it up in chat. Because I'm
Corpses.
Oh, corpses.
Talking about corpses.
Of course he is. Right. Okay. What a very gloomy start.
Why people invented wheelie suitcases?
To move. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Good. Right. Stop. Okay. Think.
Oh, Sinister, I put the link to that video up in chat.
Uncle.
Is there any actual news this week? We know that it's December the 5th season 2 box set's coming out.
I believe they've come out with dates and cast for the specials that are coming up.
I would be interested in seeing your source on that.
It was a Facebook thing, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Mm.
It's a little, yeah.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry, Retta, but I don't know who Aaron Carter is. Boys?
American musician, pop singer thing.
So not Dave Keep then?
A recently deceased musician, correct?
Right. Okay. Well, sad.
However, if tragedies do come in 3, he is number 2 of 3.
Oh, great! And like I say, my dad's still in hospital with his heart. Thanks, Brian. I'm not really worried. I've also lost a cat. Last time I saw him was doing the show last week.
They have to be related in some fashion, like pertinent to you. You understand? For it to be tragedies in 3s. So, since you don't know Aaron Carter,
that's not a tragedy.
Not susceptible to the
but
rule
I've lost
of
a cat. That's a tragedy.
Ah, well, there's one.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've lost Dave. Arthur. You didn't really get to see him much. He was more of an outdoor cat, but he's been out all week. And he came in last Sunday. He was really scared, which is unusual. But over the last week, we've had thunderstorms and torrential rain and, of course, lots of fireworks. I'm not expecting to see him. And I'm feeling like shit about that. Like I say, Dad's not well. Sorry, I don't mean to be gloomy, but look, fuck off, I'm in mourning. So, anyway, if we've got no actual news, have we any actual news? Do we ever have any actual news? Okay, right. In lieu of news, we will do this instead. Oh, yes, news. Spanky might well be taking his grade 3 podcasting examination this evening.
Oh.
He doesn't know about it.
Okay.
When I tap my finger on the dashboard, I want you to perform an emergency review.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I did come prepared tonight to review The Big Finish.
That is what you're going to be reviewing solo.
I'll be good. I took notes. I can sum them up.
He took notes. What a fool.
I know.
And then after that, Spanky, you have to change topic by moving in forward and reverse gears.
Oh, I can do that easily. That happens all the time with me. Because on Tuesday I had pancakes.
So I just trying to remember when I last had pancakes. I can't remember. And now, from the worlds of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. Before we start this, I had a little accident on Friday evening.
It happens when you get older. They make a special garment for that.
Never trust a fart.
Never
Don't
trust a
feel
fart.
ashamed about it. Just buy the big nappies and move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how all 3 of them went straight there with their remarks.
It's not an accident.
Well, knowing the source, that's all.
Front or back?
Look, incontinence for someone of your age is totally normal. I mean,
That was the question I was working up to, Doc.
Or both.
there's a special layer of hell reserved just for us.
I mean, at least it kept you warm.
My money was on both. Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah, briefly warm.
guys, come on. We can do better than this. We can. We
No,
did
we
it once
can't.
before.
No, we can't.
No,
Eddie was here back then, but
you.
yeah, the dog managed to clear one of my shelves. And casualties
we were
include.
online
Yeah,
together.
you were hearing that. Casualties include my 3D printed proper Metropolitan Police box. The base has been knocked off, and one of the doors, the door that opens, has fallen off. So, Sinister, any good with glue?
Do you know? I find super glue incredibly shit these days. I don't know whether they've watered down the compound or whatever, but I just can't get the fucking stuff to work. So, in answer to your question, no, because I get more glue over my hands than I do on the actual thing that I'm applying it to.
Hang on. There's an American who wants to do what he laughingly calls talking.
Now, are you looking? What kind of super glue are you using?
I've no
Whatever I
idea.
can find.
Okay, because if you want to order some of this BSI stuff I have, which is
Blurred.
fading into my background because
Okay.
BSI super glue, this stuff is good. Also,
Right.
I've heard good things about Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, Gorilla
Oh,
Glue works
I've
really well.
tried Gorilla Glue. Can I just ask a question?
Yes, of
If
course.
the glue was that super,
Wait for it. I
Why?
know it's coming.
why doesn't it congeal in the bottom?
Why isn't it stuck to the actual thing?
What kind of coating do they put on the inside of that bottle? I
Well,
wonder, right?
quite. We like to try and get all the science here on the Flashing Blade.
You're
So
big
the
on
police box
science.
needs repairing, and something blasphemous has happened.
One of your Daleks, as I recall, was decapitated.
One of my Spiridon Daleks lost its dome,
Mhm.
and I can't find it.
A dedomification, right?
So,
But it's
Okay.
the one with the Dalek down inside, so at least you have it's like.
well, it has
oh, well,
a little
we meant
Dalek,
that
yeah,
to
but it's
happen.
not the same. It's,
Well,
Just saying.
I
What
don't
you
really
do
want
then-
that. I
It's
just
all
want the Dalek, not the Khaled.
Drill a hole in the top, put a firecracker inside, blow the thing open, and make a damaged Dalek.
There you go. Right.
There you go.
Battle damaged Dalek. Yeah.
No! They're my Spiridon Daleks. They're my children.
Would you clear? Oh, and you drop your children regularly, do you?
Broken already.
Yes.
You've broken
Right.
it. It's not going to be
Exactly.
repaired now.
What do
Listen,
you do with a broken child? You stick a firecracker in them.
right after
Well,
everything we've
battle
had,
damaged
after
Dalek.
everything we've had so far, I think we need to basically. Yes, those are eyes in the darkness, by the way.
Mhm.
I think we need
It's
to.
like you're on Spiridon.
Right.
Actually, I'm thinking one of the monsters in the plane of stones.
The breed of that cat is known as Cheshire. Right.
Ooh, very good.
For God's sake, don't let Jody watch this. She might get flashbacks to Attack of the Block.
Right.
Bonus points, Spanky, for pronouncing Cheshire correctly.
Yay.
Now give him Worcestershire. Worcester.
Worcestershire, Hooker. How about that? Just
I
because.
can do it.
That we will always
As
play that
Bostonians
card.
say, Worcester.
I'll
that
pay you
card
money
is
if
a-
you can say aluminum correctly. 'Cause
Aluminium?
There's no aluminium. Where do you get an M-I-N in
Aluminium.
there? There's no M-I-N.
Aluminium.
Aluminium. We created the word. Fuck off. I
You
say
stole
we.
it.
It was us over in Jersey that created it. We let the English use it.
In Jersey,
In
Our
Jersey.
resident Francophile, right?
Noisy?
Joyzy.
Jersey.
Jersey. Right. Yeah, we need to clean things up a little bit.
Best
So
friends.
therefore,
with
we'll
Snooki or whatever,
return
right?
to the world's bestest poet and say, "World's bestest poet, can you launch us into our Doctor Who reviews with one of your epics?"
Oh yes.
By the way, I've got a very special poem coming out tomorrow, but I'm not going to ruin it.
It's going to be about anticipation, isn't it?
Mhm.
We
This one is
shiver
called-
with Antissa.
And then do a part 2 of the poem a week later, just called Patient.
This one is called Power.
Ooh, that's playing
If
right
I
up your
had-
street.
If I had ultimate power, even if just for an hour, I would be super strong and I'd right all the world's wrongs. If I was supreme, I'd live my best dreams. I'd feed everyone gammon and solve world famine. If I were the greatest, the best and the latest, I'd reset all the scores and end all the wars. If I were the finest, most illustrious, divinest, we'd head for the stars and colonize Mars. If I were the ruler, I wouldn't be crueler than the leaders we've got, but I'd still have them all shot. So please vote for me, and one day you'll see things won't be bland with me in command.
That's a pretty good. I want that. I want that on the posters as for World Dictator. Yes.
If
Can we
I
use that
was a
as your
soldier.
election speech? We got one coming up on Tuesday.
Oh
so-
yes.
His election speech is it already? Well, his Christmas
Online.
message. Yes.
I've got an election speech online. It's called the Evil Off.
Oh, yeah, it's on the Vidiprog, isn't it? Look
Yeah.
for Flashing Blade Vidiprog. It's actually the Flashing Blade
Yeah.
YouTube channel, which I don't know why we're not still using, but we're not. So that was a little bit of culture there for you. I hope you appreciated it, scum.
We're big on culture, here.
Um,
And not just for bacteria and fungi.
so
Culture
Dimitris.
with a capital K.
Mm-hmm.
sort of think you find in a yogurt pot.
Culture with a big
Okay.
cult.
Moving
Black cult in
on. What I want, okay, is Wi-Fi enabled electric shock collars on all of you. Because then I can just do this.
You realize you would have to go through me to get all that set up for you.
No, I wouldn't.
So
I have a chief
Shock every
scientist.
time you hit the button. It'd be great.
I have a chief scientist who can do all of that, and he's only 5 minutes down the road. Which reminds me, I've got to send an email. Staggering Stories are recording tomorrow evening. So you've got one day to get your feedback into Staggering Stories, folks. That's show at staggeringstories.net. I really should charge them. So we went and, well, people who've said that Doctor Who was never woke. I wish to dispute this because the very first scene of the Doctor Who story we watched this week is a critique on the standard of the Metropolitan Police. When a policeman walks along, tries a gate, but doesn't check if it's locked, no, just goes, and then wanders off again, never to be seen again, I hasten to add. Even when he came back in a couple of weeks' time to do the same thing, it was a different policeman. It was a cold, wet night in November, let's put it that way, or foggy. We watched An Unearthly Child, basically. All 4 episodes, or if you like, An Unearthly Child and The Tribe of Gum. I'm not going to talk about the first episode, because everyone's talked about the first episode, and I will not come up with anything fresh. But the 3-part caveman story is a hell of a lot better than I remember it being. Oh, Jesus. It's so well written, it's so well acted, and it's a thankless job acting that, I'll tell you. It's so brilliantly lit and directed, especially considering they're in the awful Studio D at Lime Grove. It's a triumph, a positive triumph. And it just makes it all the more jarring that the following week we were on Skaro. And we had the Dalek story, when they're 2 very different things. But I've always revered the first Dalek story. And I still do. But the Tribe of Gum, in my opinion, is right up there. And I watched it this week just to make sure I knew what I was talking about, and I just walked away from it thinking, yeah, that works. So, who would like to go first? Don't all jump at once. Spanky, you can go first.
No, because I'm doing another thing first. You have to go first.
The Brian. I already been, as we've just discussed. Brian, please save me.
Whoopsie.
You filthy
Well-
Lord scum.
Having watched this multiple times now for the Flesh and Blade,
Twice, yep.
twice as multiple.
Appealing to Sinister there. Well done.
Is anybody else just slightly hit by the creep factor of two teachers stalking a young teenage girl
Again,
back to her
it's
home?
context. Back in the day, that would have been fine. You know, it just showed conscientious teachers. Nowadays, you look at it with a jaundiced eye. That's history, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's still
I'm
a
not
creep,
sure.
creep factor.
Yeah.
There's a small creep factor to it.
There was creep factor.
I mean, it's Barbara's nosiness, quite frankly.
I blame her hair.
I do as well.
Well, she's supposed to be a bit of
Yeah.
a busybody, right? So
Oh, just wait till we get to the edge of destruction. You will feel the sharp edge of Barbara Wright and her hair.
And the doctor, then kidnapping them basically back to Stone Age times.
100,000
Oh,
BC, apparently.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that Stone Age, prehistory. Yeah, there's a lot of issues I have with this episode, with the first episode, mainly because
If you
It
tell me the
was
TARDIS
done-
doors wouldn't shut, I'm going to laugh.
it was done for an earlier time,
Well, yeah.
and it's just not something that I can wrap my brain around these days.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a fair comment.
The tribe with the fire.
You shall not make fire.
Yeah. How many fleas were in those?
Quite a few, apparently.
Yeah. That took a hell of a lot of acting, and they were pretty desperate actors to be wearing that stuff.
I'm saying, I bet
It
that
was,
was.
I don't think it was in the furs. I think it was in the sand that they brought in.
It doesn't matter.
I can't remember exactly, but yes, it's a long ago story that everyone knows. We're not entirely certain how
They're
accurate
either
it is.
sand fleas or they're fur fleas, and when you break it down, it's still fleas.
Well, yes, quite. Need to put a little spot on the back of each of their necks. Be expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
It
yeah.
would be expensive. Go on then, carry on.
Well, there was also the refreshing lack of bubble wrap in this episode.
Hadn't been invented.
Exactly.
First time I think we see bubble wrap proper is the Ark in Space. But I could be wrong. It
That
may have
wasn't
been
excellent
used
use
as a
of bubble wrap.
packaging thing at some stage in
And an
Pertwee
oversized
season
paper
11 or
mache insect.
something. But
Still, Ark in Space is good with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say about it because it really doesn't. I'd posted a question to Facebook that I believe you had shared.
yes, we didn't really get any sensible answers back.
We didn't get any real responses.
What was your question, Brad?
How do modern day teachers view this episode and Ian and Barbara's actions during it?
Picked the wrong week, otherwise Lilibet
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
really
it
have
was
replied about that.
definitely ill-timed.
Yeah, that can't be helped, can it?
These things happen.
Silly old fool. Okay. That's from a modern-day American viewpoint, which is just as valid, even if it is American.
Oh,
Like
at least you
cheese.
didn't say
It's
wrong.
still cheese, but it's American, right?
What sort of cheese? What sort of flavors have you got? American cheese?
We have cheddar, and we have the
It's
white
not
cheddar.
cheddar
and we have
unless
American.
it's from the cheddar area of Somerset.
No, it's not cheddar unless it's from that Wisconsin white stuff. That's the good stuff, right? Maine, up there, Vermont, white
Cabot.
sharp white cheddar. Woo! Oh my God, yeah.
It's not
Cabot
cheddar.
cheese.
Wisconsin does good cheese too.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Cabot. Mhm.
Actually,
I'm
that's
just
an
saying.
interesting
Oh
thought.
my God, wow.
Seriously, do you know if cheddar have actually made that thing? Because I know the Champagne people did, didn't they?
Champagne
they
is
want to, but
Champagne,
they haven't.
France, but cheddar didn't make the cheddar.
You can't call things
Well-
champagne unless it's from the Champagne area region of France. And I think
Right.
they tried
Otherwise,
to.
it's just a sparkling wine.
Yeah. Whereas.
Well, there's a lot of money in the Champagne region of France.
Right,
Not
right,
so
right.
much in cheddar.
Champagne's awful. I hate it.
Not as much money in cheddar. That's true.
Oh, I don't know. If you're looking at bulk, the
I'm
thing
just
is,
saying.
cheddar itself, like I say, that's proper cheddar. Everything else is copy cheddar.
Plus,
And I'm
you-
talking about stuff made in Britain that's not made in cheddar. You know.
Plus, if
I'm
you
not just-
go with it, Champagne tends to have that whole snobbery thing to it.
I don't know
So,
because we've got
The
prosecco
fact
now.
that people keep pointing out that it's not real champagne unless it's made from
Oh.
Miscreated champagne, right?
yeah, that's just speaks of
You don't have champagne,
classism.
that's
Do what I
not
do,
what
don't
want.
drink.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, quite frankly.
I think we're all overlooking something incredibly important.
Go on, go on.
Who gives a fuck about champagne? Oh, that and tonight, the episode that we're speaking about, this was a very important milestone for Doctor Who.
Well, it was the
Very
first
important, not
episode.
because it was the first episode,
Oh, this will be good.
but because they
The first
established
Billy
a very
Fluff.
proud and long-standing tradition of doing terrible things to actors' skin in this story, like we saw in Kroll and other episodes where actors just kind of take one for the team to get the show made because there's sand fleas in your costume, or
And they get paid abysmally for
we
it.
painted you green and and had to take you to an Air Force
Here,
base
have a ham
contamination
sandwich.
chamber to
Now
get that
go
trash
act.
off you, or because so right, exactly, and we're gonna pay you scale. Enjoy.
Did anybody notice the first Billy Fluff?
So there you have it.
The
No.
first one,
Billy
Billy
Fluff. Yeah. Hartnell fluffing his lines.
Oh,
It's
There was a
important.
couple of those minor ones. Everybody jumbled,
noted,
dropped their
it's
line
just-
ones. Yeah.
Hang on. If anybody watching this on YouTube or indeed on Twitch chat right now can tell me what the first Billy Fluff is, you can have a lolly. There we go. Just write it down in the comments section. And no, new boy, not you.
Busted.
Yeah. So he watched it last week.
It was right when they first went in the TARDIS. He says something, but I can't remember what the exact line was.
No, not quite. I believe these people
Oh
are
no!
known to
It was
Susan.
when they were outside, right?
No,
Now, because I'm confusing this because I watched today to put it in comparison. I watched the pilot that they discarded.
yes.
That was something. There was a lot of line flubs in there too, but it was also the Doctor was far more dickish and really he's like almost a psychotic kidnapper almost
Yeah,
at
that's
one
fair.
point there, like way before he explains anything, almost electrocutes the one guy and like does a lot of crazy stuff. He's just like a batty old man, possibly serial young girl kidnapper type.
Well, no
whatever
one
that,
knew,
like, you know,
did they? No one knew. That's just
exactly
it.
right. And it was so funny to see that, like, wow, y'all really. I was so surprised that they took that and went, yeah, we'll move, we'll get rid of this, but we'll try it again. Like, we'll move on from here. Like, really? Okay.
It was
Because-
it was highly unusual. It wasn't normally done. I mean, it wasn't
As-
a pilot. That's just it. It's
Right.
just that it was so bad. They said no.
What was
do
what,
it again.
23 minutes or something like that, or 26
like
minutes,
that, yeah.
I think that they shot as a test footage, right? But then that they went on from that, giving BBC's totally unabashed and completely exposed feelings towards Doctor Who, that they got to continue and like actually make the series is shocking. They did
Yeah,
just go
it was
right
going
back
to. It was going to be shut after 13 weeks. But then the Daleks happened. Dr. Sinister, now I know you like
yeah.
Daleks. What do you think of cave people?
First of all, I have discovered
I
fire.
love them. I couldn't eat a whole one though.
You have. It will destroy you all.
On the topic
I
of
should be known as Old Mother.
blue-infested clothing,
Yes?
I don't think it was this story she was referring to, but in 1983
Marco
at the
Polo.
Longleat Convention, I asked Carol Ann Ford what the worst Doctor Who story was that she made, and she referred to one where they had to wear fur coats and they were infested with
You
fleas.
see, it could be
I think
Marco Polo.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's one of those stories.
going back in time slightly more,
Mm.
I saw this first in 1980. Was it 1980? They did the repeat.
Yeah, 1981.
81. Yeah.
Five
right.
Faces
So
of Doctor Who.
obviously, this is an extreme landmark story for many, many, many reasons.
But it's not meant to be. That's just it.
Actor abuse, yes, but right.
However, can I say, I've never really liked it.
Interesting.
I love episode 1. Episode 1 is amazing. Once we get into the caveman stuff, I zone out a little bit. I'll be honest with you. It's all because the stakes are so low for me. You know what I mean?
What, life and death, that sort of thing.
Well, just a bunch of. Yeah, you can say that, but you're wrong.
I'm right.
Caveman versus the Doctor, he would regenerate anyway.
It's
But
just kind of. It's also low key, you know. I don't know. I just can't get into it. I've never been able to get into it, and I'm sorry about that. But episode 1, I think, is amazing. I'll quite often watch episode 1 and I'll just stop, you know, because you've got the Doctor being a complete git.
he's a total bastard.
You're first introduced to the TARDIS, and it's all just so like amazing, and then we go off and we're just fucking around with some cavemen who want fire.
But it's really well done. It's done with conviction. The script is great.
I'm not saying
brilliant.
I'm not saying it's not done with conviction. I'm not saying it's not done
Brilliantly
well.
directed. Yeah.
It just doesn't float my boat.
That's a preference thing. You can't argue that.
I lump this in with the historical stories of Doctor Who, and I've never liked the historical stories. I am a sci-fi nerd, and I make no apologies for that. I've got no particular interest in stories that have no, alien interference going on. The Doctor just turns up in revolutionary France and fucks around for a bit and then goes, boring. Sorry, boring.
Next week, the Aztecs. No, sorry. We won't do the Aztecs just yet. Don't worry.
I won't watch it.
I know you won't.
I won't watch it, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch An Unearthly Child this week. I didn't need to.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it is one of those. I mean, I was glad I didn't watch the opening episode because I'd seen it so many times, but I did want to go back to the gum stuff, and I was just blown away by it.
It was the saving grace of the series that they got to the Daleks within, 4 episodes?
Time, please.
Number one, I didn't need to because I've seen it so many times. Number two, I didn't want to because the caveman stuff, in my opinion, is dull. And number three, I'm finding it hard to fit some of these things in for timing at the moment. But I'm sorry to be a downer on the very first Doctor Who story, and it sounds like I'm not a fan. I am a fan, but I'm more a fan of other eras of Doctor Who. And we've already established on this show that Hartnell is not my favourite Doctor.
Well, point here to make, right?
Why do I?
For all of us, right? This was made and aired at least 5 years before any of us were born, right? No, so 64 years.
4 years.
At least 4
years
years for
before
me.
I was born.
So yeah, I'm saying. So I didn't see it until I was probably, I don't know, what year was Tom Baker the Doctor?
Which one of the 7?
Number 4.
No, which
Tom
one
Baker.
of the 7 years?
Oh, the first year.
Okay, 1975.
Okay, so the mid 70s. I was like 8. And that's when, I got my introduction, and that I think that really the Doctor you are introduced to Doctor Who from really does determine, I think, the kind of episode you enjoy and stuff like that. I've noticed that in Doctor Who fans, like whoever you saw first kind of determines like how you like the show and the kind of stories you like and stuff.
My first episode was the Ark in Space. I had to be like 3 or 4.
Did you have Howard
And-
De Silva doing a voiceover?
No. And
It was a thing.
just
It was a
the
thing.
whole that green thing on the guy's hand
Yeah, right?
freaked me the hell out.
It's bubble wrap.
I was 3 or 4. It didn't matter.
And that's
Not so much body horror as double horror.
6 or 7, maybe
Remember-
8 at the oldest, and I was still freaked out. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? And the big bug, like, like,
And then it's crawling and undulating along
actually
the
we
floor.
need to sort something out here. Sinister. Wirren.
Yes,
Wirren, how many R's?
3.
Okay, thank you very much. Carry on.
Aru? What? Delightful
Oh,
non sequitur.
Christian's just turned around and said his first episode he remembers vividly. Ooh, that must have been vivid. Was Planet of the Spiders.
Oh, cool.
That's the first one I can recall seeing as a child.
I'm so old.
The first one I clearly remember is the same as Brian, the Ark in Space. I know I saw it before that, but that's the one that stuck with me as the first one I saw. Don't know
Well,
why.
I can think of worse ones to be stuck with.
No,
Ark
totally.
in Space is absolutely amazing.
I loved it.
I love
Yeah,
that
it was great.
story.
It's what
It
hooked me
just
on Doctor
sets
Who.
out. It's such a sharp difference from the Pertwee era that came before it, and it sets out what they're going to do.
Mhm.
We've had the Pertwee hangover in Robot. Now this
Well,
is
the
the new team in
Pertwee
action.
stuff was a lot of unit stuff and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
Not
trying
all
to
the
remember
time,
how
but-
much. Yeah, not all the time, but there was a lot of it. But I don't know. There wasn't that much, as I recall, with Tom Baker. I could be wrong, but I think that was the first time I saw the Sontarans and stuff, and a few other things too.
Fair enough.
So it was really cool, I was like, yeah. I guess that's who you see first. That's really determines, I think, what kind
Sorry,
of Doctor
I-
Who fan you
A
become.
sudden urge to do some French philosophy.
My condolences. Even if you go with the humanist,
Please
okay.
don't.
Okay.
Unless it's Camus, we can talk then.
Just fight the urge. It's okay. You can
Mythicists,
fight it.
good reason to live, good reason to die. We can start there.
Okay, I could do some Shakespeare if you want.
Oh, bugger.
No,
Right.
Chaucer.
Only the-
How about Chaucer? Something.
Only the
something,
comedies,
something.
damn you. And much ado about nothing, because everybody always goes to fucking all those other ones. I'm like, no.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway. Okay. So let's do a thumb
We're all
measurement,
there,
shall we?
here, yeah.
Thumb measurement for an unearthly child on its own. Just the first
Oh,
episode. First episode on its own.
First episode will go, yeah.
First episode definitely up, yes.
Okay, and then the Tribe of Gum.
The kidnappings and things.
Okay, you're all wrong.
The caveman
Um,
stuff.
But yes, no. So next week, the Daleks are out there waiting for us.
It gets better.
Good for them.
Mm,
What's next
the
week?
Forced naivete of the Thalls, right? Yeah.
You will move ahead of me and follow my directions. Ah, dear.
I love robots
Can't
that
feel
try
my
and talk
legs.
like stereo instructions, right?
It's when he died of a brain tumour in Coronation Street. All you had was fans going around, my brain, I can't feel my brain. It was a bit... Yeah, in the 90s, we could be a little bit disrespectful. I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Before
I
that as well.
fucking miss the 90s so much.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's
The
over.
90s
I
were a
really
good
I had a
decade.
fantastic time in the 90s. The music, the TV, it was all amazing. And I really, really miss the 90s.
I
Good
was
time to be
dirt
addicted.
poor and I loved it.
It was a great time for
Yeah.
comic books too. Even though DC and Marvel were trying to kill the genre, we saw Dark Horse
I
emerge and
was-
Image and a ton of independents that were really freaking amazing. I'm with you. The 90s were.
I was sharing a house with my semi-cousin housemate. It was a party house. It was like I wasn't married. I had no kids. I was spending money on fucking toys left, right, and center.
So what's
strange.
changed?
That was like when I got out of the Marines, and then like between there and then the time I went to college. Like I had a Harley. I was driving back and forth
I
across
was
the country
working
and
at the
stuff. Like
mall.
I bet you had a
was
bandana.
with
I bet
Dave,
you
I
had a
hot-ass
bandana.
girlfriend. Everything was good.
I did.
I
'cause
get
didn't wear a helmet.
really depressed sometimes that the 90s are so far away and getting further and further away.
All right.
I met Retta in the 90s.
Wow.
He hasn't
There you
got
go.
over it.
And you're still suffering.
À la
The
recherche
90s
de
were
la
like,
Pompadour.
were like my 60s was for my mum, you know? It was the
Yeah,
90s
right.
were fucking amazing.
80s weren't bad either, honestly. I had fun in the 80s and the 90s.
Can I try my clever cultural quote again?
Go on.
Thank you. À la recherche de la Pompadour.
Something about chickens.
Gesundheit.
There's a frog in which B-Day? Right, so the Daleks next week. Yeah, I was hoping we'd come away with a slightly better appreciation of the Tribegum than we did, but because I realised how brilliant it was.
It was brilliant. We're not saying it wasn't brilliant. We're
It
just
just
saying we
wasn't your
failed to
cup of tea.
appreciate it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Notice how this side of the screen is in darkness.
Yes, I'm going to fix a little bit of that, but it's going to stay that way.
I
'cause
like it.
I like it.
I prefer it like that, if I'm honest with you.
Uh-huh.
And
I like it like that.
It means half your face is in shadow, which is a good thing.
Mm.
It's okay. It's dark outside now, and it's only 5
Hang on,
p.m.
one at a time, please. Brian.
It's dark outside now. It's only 5 p.m.
Okay, Sinister.
Siobhan looks like Holly from Red Dwarf. Can you look at the
bit,
screen
yeah.
and say, all right, dudes?
Yeah.
All right, dudes.
Not bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
1 octave higher next
We
time,
are
please.
talking April, May, June, July, and August full.
Mhm.
It's the Null Web Federation, Dave.
Can I call
Tell us about Agatha
Getting
Christie, Holly.
the H on my forehead just
yeah.
in case?
I think you should carve an H into your forehead.
I don't want to
Let Jess do it.
Carving takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, but you'll just be sat there, dude.
lazy.
Just leave it to Jess.
We do
Either
know
that or
what's
we
right.
could brand him.
out
What do you
for many
reckon?
years.
Brand him with the H?
Well,
And as a hologram.
I think Brian's more of a Crichton. I think I'd be more of a Rimmer, and Spanky's got to be Lister.
Yes, probably. I
Well,
would do my
we
best.
got
to
this
be a
handy
listener,
dandy
but-
little tool here.
It's got 3 settings.
I would make a great.
I can just
Oh, yeah. That would definitely take care of the eyebrow problem. Brow problem, blah.
Sin, can you
Except
just
for
make
curry. I
it
don't
make a
like
noise,
curry.
please?
I don't know why. I have genetic deficiency or something.
It's not been picked up by your microphone.
Oh, that
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
That was good. Go on,
That
try
was
again.
great.
Try again. I'm waiting for you.
Well, I was doing it.
Yeah, we couldn't hear it. You've got
Why
to bring
not?
it close to your microphone.
Close.
Yes.
It's really loud.
We can't hear it. It's not being picked up.
It's really loud.
So much for being bloody Sonic.
Ooh, yeah, wow, there it was.
Sonic my butt.
Yeah, quite.
That's pretty
Do I
solid
need
to
to
me.
get a better? Do I need to get a better microphone? I've got a Yeti over there somewhere.
Actually, I tell you what, try
It's a
talking while
Yeti.
you activate it so your microphone is picking up your voice.
I think that's possibly going to too much effort, Andrew, to be honest with you.
An awful lot of effort. I'm good at suggesting things that take far too much effort. When other people are
Spanky!
the ones that have to make the effort. Yes, ma'am.
Will you please do an emergency review of Big Finisher's new 8th Doctor set? And
Right,
you're on
Awooga,
your
Awooga.
own. Good
I
luck.
Awooga,
prepared for this.
Awooga.
I prepared for this.
Emergency.
And I'll even keep it pithy. I figured out how
I don't
could
know
I
if he's
sum these
poetry
up
in
and
that
not
or
like
not.
get off the rails and not give stuff away. So
Good luck.
the first episode, I want everybody just to think there's an incredibly amusing, if slightly confusing, Dalek shell game. That was the highlight of that for me. The first one because the time station thingy and they're inside and outside and blah, 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 run around and okay, but that and then the second one had a nut juggling space mongoose, and I'm afraid to go into more detail than that because I don't know how to say anything else without giving.
Well, I'm glad
stuff
you have
away.
because I understandably didn't get a chance to listen to the second one. So
They were both really good. I really liked the second one more than the first one, even.
With me, it
Even
was
with
a
the
case
Dalek
of,
Shell game was freaking awesome, but
it's a case of, oh look, it's the Daleks again.
I know, but still, the Shell game thing is always funny. I was just kind of surprised nobody got really like stuck inside one like we saw many times before. But
So-
it was so fun. And the whole time, it sent us back in time and do this and that, and it got really confusing because we keep sending people back in time to save us, only we're saving us from us, and then we're
plots that
getting the
spoilers.
Dalek quick.
Spoilers.
Yes, I know, it's like spoilers. But
What did you
nut
make
juggling
of the,
space mongoose.
What did you
Hang
make?
on to that.
What did you make of the acting?
I thought it was great.
Any standouts?
Boy, the mongoose was really good.
How used are you
I
to
like
Paul
that everybody
McGann's
was good.
Doctored?
I am not, to be honest.
So this is
And
an interesting angle to come from.
Right, I've seen him in other things and I was never impressed. But honestly, hearing him as the Doctor here, because I haven't seen him as the Doctor on TV, I actually liked him. I thought it was good. I have seen him in other things, and I just
You
haven't
know
been
what's
impressed
coming,
yet, so I
don't
didn't
you?
think much about him as an actor. Not that he's bad or good. Just I didn't have an opinion of him, but I've heard him now in the Doctor on Big Finish, and I was impressed. I liked it. I thought he did a really good job.
You know what's coming. It's now being slotted into the schedule. His
Uh-oh.
first and his last stories.
Ichiban. Okay,
It's
buddy.
Dougie.
One second.
It's a Dougie.
Is the
Hello,
wolf says
G.
hello, and the wolf says, "Take me outside, you fat bastard," which I'm gonna have to do now. I'll be right back.
Well
Sorry
done,
about
you,
that.
by the way. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I try to keep it nice and compact. I think there we go.
Very, very well done. What just happened?
Spanky did a review and then took his dog out for a shit.
Okay, so I didn't imagine that.
No.
Okay.
No, that happened.
Okay, right. Good. Good. Anyway, yes, so that was yeah, it's quite a short box set, this one. Like I said, I've listened to the first one.
That's so big.
Yep, Paradox of the Daleks.
Good title.
I still love an of the. I do love an of the in the title.
As one does.
Quite. And it's, I don't know, I enjoyed it. And it's 'cause he's with Liv and Helen, and that's good stuff because they're good actresses. Briggsy's doing the Dalek voices again. But like I said, I think possibly Big Finish are overusing the Daleks. I think so. Possibly.
Yeah,
I
but-
think they should start to
but they
hold
sell.
them in reserve. Well, yeah,
They sell.
I'd be interested to know if they do.
I guarantee it. Because there are people like me. If there's
There
Daleks
is
in a big,
nobody like you.
if there's Daleks in Big Finish, I'm 5 times more likely to buy the story.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's like having a monkey on a comic book cover. Well, you never heard of that?
No, I could appreciate it
Back
if it
in
was
the-
a goat.
Back in the 60s, they discovered that comics sell at least 50% more when there's an ape on the cover, a gorilla,
Okay.
something like that. So there actually had to be a rule that came out about how many covers you could have featuring simians.
I'd
Can I
never
ask
heard
the
that.
question? Can I ask the question? And I genuinely want to know, but I have to say it this way.
Okay.
But why?
All
I
right.
don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What's wrong with having too many monkeys? Where do you think we get the bloody scripts for this thing from?
I bet
mean-
Planet of the Apes comic had a real difficulty trying to regulate how many monkeys they had on the cover.
Right.
Actually, I read a couple of those when I was a kid. For the life of me, I couldn't tell you if they were good or bad.
They were awful. I remember 'em.
I've got the Planet of the Apes series on DVD and I've never opened it.
Wow.
Which series? The movies or the TV series?
I've
The
got all
TV
the
series.
movies and I've got the TV series.
I remember
That's
the
a
TV
special
series.
kind of watching.
Mhm.
We should watch those.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Troy and Abed in the morning. Right. Well, Spanky's
The
now
movie's just
learned
got more
how
ropes,
how difficult it is to do a solo review, especially on something you can't actually give anything away about.
That's fun. Yeah. No, it's very hard to do it and not like give out spoilers.
I
Always.
know.
It's
I
hard
know.
to talk about any of this and not give out spoilers, to be honest.
Well, most of the stuff we don't need to worry about, but the Big Finish
Right.
stuff.
No,
you know.
anything we can't give out spoilers on because I'm such a blabbermouth, I totally would give major spoilers away without constant. I'm like the Tom Holland of the podcast here.
My daughter's favorite
I
tea.
would just let you go.
Oh, is that your tea?
Huh?
That's my
Delicious.
daughter's tea.
Oh,
Beans and sausages on toast.
it
with
looks like it's
cheese.
getting a bit cold.
Yeah.
Hello, Alice.
Hello.
Hello.
That was Alice.
I'm going away to eat.
That's nice. It's get away from this nonsense.
Definitely. Definitely.
Dear, I would, frankly.
Save yourself quick.
Yeah, quite.
Wait. Can we now say we're filmed in front of a live studio audience?
Oh, yes.
We can. Yes.
Yes, we can. Woohoo!
This
See?
means, Sin, you're going to have to give her cues of when to laugh, when to cheer, and when to
It's
clap.
Gone.
They're
She's
good
long
for
gone.
more than a tax break. I'm telling you.
She's long gone upstairs.
Captive studio audience, and I never thought about using them like that, but
It's a
that's a
thought,
really
isn't it?
good
It's a
thing.
thought.
That's a really
Yep.
good use.
So we're going to turn to the Brian, and we're going to say to the Brian, what are you going to review for us this week?
I've watched a lot of things this week.
Okay, do you want to pick one? Can you pick one?
I could try House of the Dragon season 1.
Anybody worried about spoilers for that?
Nope.
Couldn't give a damn.
Okay, so there will be spoilers for House of the Dragon, just so you know,
Well-
folks. Off you go,
Well,
Brian.
it's very good. I mean, the formula is add more dragons
And more
and
nudity.
no, less nudity.
Interesting.
There is actually less nudity in this season.
I'm gonna have to go with. I haven't watched it, but somehow I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I won't be tuning in.
I will have to say Matt Smith gives a masterful performance,
He
even
hurt his
though
back.
he injured his back.
He was so busy carrying it.
He was so busy carrying this entire season on his
He
back.
hurt his back, right?
No, really, he did, because his character is like the major badass of the entire show.
Okay, so are we talking Ramsay Bolton style badass or Joffrey style badass?
Neither.
Littlefinger.
Joffrey wasn't a badass. He was just a bastard.
No, Daemon Targaryen is
Has a mighty chin.
he goes okay. They have to do this fight against some people that are trying to take over the Narrow Sea. So he goes to solo to present himself to the ruler there, and then proceeds to carve his way through the enemy army to the point that they, instead of sending out 5 more guys, they have to send out the entire goddamn army to stop him.
And do they?
And then his backup shows up. So yeah, okay, he's a badass. Not only that, but he decapitates a guy from the jaw up.
Oh, that's always a good decapitation, right? With
Well,
the
the
tongue
king-
hanging out, that's always epic.
Yeah, the king. All right, so the guy he insults the king's daughter and her
You
children,
insult the king. Sorry.
and the king calls for his tongue. About 2 seconds later, you see stunk, and Daemon standing behind him, and the body falls over, and you see half the head with the tongue. And he's like,
I've got a very important question to ask.
yes.
Had Saz Matt Smith managed to get his arms and hands under control?
Yes. He uses a sword masterfully in this.
No, he doesn't. Trust me. He's all over the place. Everybody else
No,
has to.
no.
You
He's
know what
really
Matt
good.
Smith's hands and arms are like. He can't walk into a room without breaking 3 objects.
It
even if there
works.
aren't 3 objects.
Whatever he does, it works. The problem is this season ends with the start of a civil war.
Mm-hmm. Too close to home? Too close to home?
No. It starts with a civil war because somebody didn't understand the final words of the king.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The entire theme about the show this season is the prince that was promised.
Mhm.
And the king tells his daughter, prince from our line will come forth and, save humanity from the night.
Oh,
It's great
So
and
we've
everything.
gone far but enough back for there to be another winter.
It's about 600 years in the past.
Right. So yeah, there will be another winter, obviously.
Yeah.
And there'll be more problems with the
How
White
how
Walkers.
far before this is? Sorry, I'm just thinking. Yeah, how far before the Battle of Yavin is this set?
This is set in I want to say 4,600,000 years YBA.
YBA?
BBY
BBY. Sorry.
I don't know what
BBY.
that is. What is BBY, please?
before the Battle
Or the
of
Battle of
Yavin.
Yavin.
It's the zero. It's the 0 point at which Star Wars. So you got ABY, BBY.
Yeah. This is definitely
It
ABY
makes-
territory.
In universe, it makes no fucking sense.
Makes no
because
sense!
You would set the new calendar at the point in time the new government took power, right?
You'd think so,
But-
wouldn't you?
But nevertheless, in universe, they use the Battle of Yavin as the 0 point. It's weird.
Return of the Jedi takes place 5 years after the Battle of Yavin.
So the question
Correct.
becomes, of course,
Yes.
is it good? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm done with it. Yeah, it was great.
Wonderful. And where can one watch this? In the States?
Over
And
here, it's on HBO Max.
That means it'll probably be on Sky Atlantic over here, which I don't have. And I'm not too fussed, quite frankly, because that's more money to Murdoch.
The one downside of this is
Bugger Murdoch, yeah.
it's the rampant sexism in the show.
Yeah,
However,
that can always
it-
feel wrong. Well, it is
It
wrong,
is,
but you know what I mean.
it is addressed, though, because the main characters are 2 women. But they're constantly condescended to by the by the male characters in the show.
I think we can see more castrations happening before much longer.
It's well done, but it's not problematic.
It just
but
feels wrong.
it's you can see why things are happening.
Okay. Well, if it's actually part of the plot,
Yeah.
then that does give it a form of justification. I'm guessing. But there we go. Thank you, Brian.
No problem.
That was a nice, concise little job there. Well done, man. Right then, I'm going to fuck off and make a cup of hot chocolate because these guys, just here, look at them. Look at them sat there. Dear bod. Anyway, Spanky's posed for his Times Man of the Year cover.
That is about the author picture. That
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
here's my
Yeah.
about the author face, my about the author picture, right?
Yeah.
Only maybe it's one of those chin cupping, like, looking up kind of.
Oh, that's very
introspect-
Garth Marenghi.
Yeah, right?
Okay, I'm going to bugger off and get a cup of hot chocolate whilst these guys talk to you about Space : Above and Beyond.
Your colon in space, yes.
Yeah.
What would we do this week? Because it was supposed to
We
be
did the first episode of Chiggy von Richthofen.
right. I thought there was like some confusion, people amongst us all here about
Yeah,
what we're supposed
there's
to
actually
watch.
2 episodes that deal with this guy.
Yeah, so
I watched both because I didn't know which one we were freaking watching.
The hell did I think I don't know. I screwed it all up, and I think I watched Never No More and The Angriest Angel.
Yeah, that's what I watched.
Yeah, basically. So just to cover the bases.
Mhm.
Never No More.
I just watched Never No More.
There you go. Chiggy Von
Never
Richthofen.
No More is kind of a downer.
All right. Here's my one thing to say about this. This is like what 100 years in the future from now,
2063.
right? So, what the hell? How I'm trying to phrase. How the hell did Patsy Cline become so fucking popular again? Okay, that was my thing. I had to get it out there. I apologize. Nothing against Patsy. I love that woman. She got a great voice, but 100 years in the future.
Actually, it's
I'm just-
because
Uh-huh.
they recreated her and she's now Patsy Clone.
There you go. See, that is a
That
perfectly
explains
rational
it.
explanation. She's on stage live, and they get that experience. See, that had just been
They
explained in
grew her
the
in
show.
the tank.
One line of dialogue would have fixed that, right? Remember when I
Patsy
saw her
Clone-
live last year? Patsy Clone
Patsy
was
Clone
great.
is an in vitro.
She's an in vitro too, and she's out there probably killing all the freaking artificials, the AIs, right? That's what she's really doing.
So this was a refreshing.
Robotech
This was
responds
a
to blow AI
Vance
stuff.
episode. This was a Shane Vance episode. It delved into her past.
Yeah,
Had an old boyfriend of hers show up.
who
He
is a
loses
bit like
his
West for
current
me.
girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. He's
They
a West
start
clone.
hooking up.
Yeah,
And he
and
gets
thank
killed.
God
let's
he
face it.
died. That was
He's
the
not a
West
main
death
star.
that
He gets killed.
Yeah.
I do have to say, refreshingly West free.
Yeah,
He's got one
really.
line.
That one
Yeah.
line. Regroup.
Well,
Yeah.
no, okay, two lines. The second line, he gives the patch to the boyfriend.
Right.
Oh, and he tells Shane that he probably ejected.
He probably
He
ejected, right?
Definitely ejected.
West. Oh, kill him. I fantasized over and over and over that it was West Fighter going down. Would have been great. Would have been awesome. Would have been great.
The moment that fighter got hit, you knew it wasn't going to be one of the main crew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he had lost his guns and steering, I thought, but attitude control or whatever, but somehow he managed to
If anybody is
Chiggy.
wondering why we
Fine,
call him
really.
Chiggy Von Richthofen,
Yeah.
it's because that's what they call him in the show, based
Right.
on the Red Baron from World
Red
War
Baron,
I.
Manfred von Richthofen, right? So
Yeah.
Still Red Baron, right?
I have to say, I'm going to enjoy The Angriest Angel more
The angriest angel.
because, damn.
Do we go? We're not going to go into that, right? We'll say
Let's
that
not go
next time.
into that because Sister
Okay, that's
hasn't
cool.
seen it yet.
Because there's things I want to point out about that just need pointing out.
Yeah. It's not a whole much more we can say without giving out spoilers for this episode.
No, because you think she's
I mean,
all about
it's
the
definitely a
tank
two-parter.
guy, but it turns out she was like almost engaged to a West clone, and that made me lose respect for what's her name, the lieutenant chick, because like I'm
Shane?
like, oh no, yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like, no, bad girl, no, wrong, not
Sister,
bad,
what
bad girl.
did you
Like
think?
naughty girl, no, like smack down, water spray.
You would have enjoyed that way too much.
Ugh, I'm just saying, like, no, naughty, stop, yeah, no, West clones.
I really like this episode. This is the space above and beyond that I can really remember.
Yeah.
They're in their ships. They're not on the ground. They're actually doing what they've freaking been trained to do.
Mhm.
I liked the idea of Chiggy von Richthofen's got the abandon all hope written on this.
Right.
They've written it in English, right?
So why is it in English?
Yeah, the
Well,
AIs do it.
They've either got it from the AIs or the Chigs have studied humanity and they've learned how to fuck with us.
There's a
Studied us, yeah.
there's a little bit of a spoiler. They
Yeah.
have
They have
for a lot
big time,
longer
for a
than
long
anyone
time,
else.
yeah.
Yeah. And because we've seen before they had that psychological weapon, if it was them allegedly, that messed with your head. So they know a lot about humanity, I think. What I found was interesting though, and this has come a bit out of the blue, is essentially he wipes out a whole ton of ships because we're trying to put a satellite into orbit around this planet, which apparently is now their home planet. We've discovered.
No, it's one of the planets within their home system.
Okay, so that's kind of come out of the blue. But you'd think if it was their home system, it would be massively defended more than it
They
is.
have a much greater presence. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have shipyards and orbital weapons platforms and carriers and all
all plot
sorts.
armor.
Like
Yeah.
basically like there would be no orbital parking from like the first AU out to like, your asteroid belt kind of a distance. Like
Yeah.
that would all be filled basically with enemy fighters and
An asteroid can't fly past this
and,
place without
ships,
being
right.
attacked.
Nothing gets through without getting blown to pieces. That's kind of how that would be. But in a big dome, right? Like a big just sphere of ships waiting to blow shit up would.
But it's interesting because a few episodes ago we were losing the war badly, and now we've apparently found their home system, and we can apparently enter it with impunity.
Apparently.
Yeah. I don't get that
Wow.
either.
It's a
I'm
trap!
surprised, yeah.
Sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they haven't talked anything about. I guess they have their drive systems. They do a very poor job of explaining exactly that, but FTL travel is possible,
It's wormhole based.
wormhole based, right? And so they need to say something about you can't really shoot a ship down in a wormhole. I guess maybe you're right on his ass in a wormhole, and you can take a chance on firing a missile there, but
In
it's a
previous
wormhole. It could blow
episodes,
up in your tube or something, but
in previous episodes, they've alluded to wormholes that appear on a schedule, and you can only obviously transit when they are available. So you can't just go from A to B. You might have to go to A to C to X to F to B, and you can only do that when the wormholes allow you to. It seems,
chart all that out in like 100 years, right?
which
So
might
that's
explain. This might explain why we constantly see the Saratoga just apparently sat in space in orbit somewhere, presumably
Right.
waiting for another wormhole.
right. That's it. But basically, 90% of your time is hurry up and wait in the military anyway. And now, I guess in the Space Navy, is the wormhole here yet? No. Are we there yet? Is the wormhole open yet?
Yeah,
What they need are
I
Dune
think
shift ships, I guess.
finger of doom has been raised.
Yeah.
How annoying was West?
Not very.
Barely in this
There was a
episode.
minimal West presence, but there was a West clone who died, so it was cathartic.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very cathartic. Let's say
You've
that.
always wanted one.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Did you enjoy this episode, gentlemen?
I loved this episode.
This is one of the better episodes.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm pleased
That's
to hear
good.
that.
Cheeky Von
This
Richthofen,
arc with
Smarmy
Chiggy
Bastard,
Von
I like it.
Richthofen is one of the better ones.
Yeah, and of course the
And-
military being complete cunts and lying about it and stuff and concealing it.
Oh,
That was
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the thing. Is I did like the scenes where you've got the chief of staff or whatever basically saying the pilots can't know about this because there's
Yeah,
something
they're
out there that's basically
can't-
wiping people out.
yeah. There's nothing
Yeah,
they
you can't
say
tell them
over
about
there.
this.
So we can't
No.
tell them about it. Like, are you fucking stupid, dude?
And
No.
when the pilot said, "Well, how are we going to know it's out there?" Basically, one of your squad mates is going to blow up.
yeah, basically, one of you's gonna blow up, right? You're not gonna see
Yeah.
anything on your scope. Why don't they just because there's a moment where the scope kind of has a little shits itself
It
for a second.
wobbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't they set up an alarm to that?
Well,
Oh,
I
You just ping the
was
thing. Bing, bing,
I was
bing.
expecting Vanson to basically scream "break, break, break" because she could see the distortion. You know.
Exactly
He
right.
knew what was
Like,
going on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I would have done. I would have said basically, guys, just scatter.
And I like how the Chiggy is also immune to their pew pew guns too, because they were just
And I-
peppering him left and right, and it was just bouncing off. He's like nothing.
And yes, and that was good with the ricochets. But I also like the bit where they're flying above the planet and she can see the shadow under the clouds.
that was a
quite-
smart. That was
that
on
was
the
good.
CGI guys. That was smart. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
You really
But,
enjoyed yourselves. That's good.
As I may have alluded last week, I think Battlestar Galactica lifted this story wholesale for the Scar episodes.
Yeah. Probably.
Scar, definitely.
Interesting. Anyway, we are going to move on. I had to go and, sorry about that, to go and get a cup of hot chocolate. At least that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
Where's the hot chocolate? Okay. All right. Then that's your excuse.
You brought your prop.
I may
Fair
have
fight.
another reason for doing it, but anyway.
We'll see.
Did you have a shit?
No, can we try and raise that a little bit, please? We've had the C word off Spanx. It's
Oh, did we?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. That's me. It comes out every
talking
other
of
5 minutes.
you were a Marine, weren't you?
Yes.
You were in Afghanistan.
No.
Where were you?
Kuwait and briefly in Iraq. But they made us turn around and leave. And Saudi Arabia.
Ruin all your fun, don't they? So the question is, when you were out there,
Iraq, is that an Apple product?
Apparently,
yes.
now.
When you were out there, did you meet an awfully big Marine called Camouflage?
No.
Okay,
I did run into a perfectly lovely group of British Royal Marines, however, and a few SAS guys who...
They eat their own children!
Yeah, they were lovely. I liked them. We had a great time. If they remember, I spotted one of them a law rocket because we got a bunch of Foster's lagers from them that they had traded through the French Foreign Legion for like their wine ration. And I gave them a law rocket for their beers and wine and stuff and like some other things because we were at the airport and they were just going to go liberate their embassy from the Iraqis or whatever. And like, everybody wanted to have a few beers first. That was all. So, we did, and they moved on, and it was great. It was at the there's a Islamic temple there at the Kuwait airport, and we sat outside that and had a few beers, and then they went on their way.
Not breaking the Islamic laws there at all. No,
well,
no.
The Kuwaitis weren't there. I think law is kind of suspended, but yeah.
I don't know.
They
go over there. They have no respect.
It's Jack Daniel to us and stuff. It was like that.
I blame Madge Arwell.
A couple of guys that went blind from trying to hooch in ammo cans, that kind of thing.
It's interesting. I caught an episode of a bit of Fry and Laurie, and it was a Peter and Tony one where obviously it was all Marjorie's fault, and I had suddenly realised Marjorie. Madge is short for Marjorie.
Yeah.
So much is linked up now.
My favourite line in one of those Peter sketches is when he says, "There's a million people out there, Peter." Really? What do they want?
Hang on, it's Tony and Control, isn't it? And it's Peter. Is it John?
Right.
Yeah, the two businessmen. Goddamn Marjorie. Anyway, well done, boys. I enjoyed that. I say I enjoyed that. I didn't hear it, but I have my reasons.
Yeah.
You don't know what they are.
We know.
You don't know.
You don't watch it.
There's more than that. Anyway, right. Don't know what next week's Big Finish is going to be. We never know what Big Finish is going to be.
Never know.
No.
We're always surprised and always happy for it.
Well, surprised and delighted is the correct Who term. You're
Surprised
surprised and delighted, and you've been persuaded to stay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, we need to move on.
Mm-hmm. Moving on.
David Callan is walking around on film in black and white around London, and he's showing a photograph of a person to various people. What he does not know is that somebody is taking photographs of him secretly. Meeting these various people, he's showing the pictures too.
He is being shadowed.
He is being shadowed, and by someone very good, because Callan would have picked him up ordinarily. Something is up. Hunter, the proper Hunter, is now back from Moscow, and he's learnt out that there is a leak in the section. And then it all goes very upside down. Lonely has an encounter with a murdered body, which scares the living bejesus out of him. And then Callan is arrested. And
Mears' help, which is important.
Yes, very much so. Mears' help.
Very important.
Though, to be fair, he was an unwitting accomplice.
Yep. That's the point, though. That's what sells it to Callan.
Yeah. And then lots of drugs get put into Callan, and he's essentially brainwashed into thinking Hunter is the source of the leak, and he's had Lonely killed. He eventually breaks out of where he's being held and gets back to the section where he shoots Hunter dead.
Yep. Pops in the door and puts one in his chest. Bam.
And then...
And Mears puts two in him.
Yeah, Mears puts two in him, and the last words of the season is, "I've been had."
Mm-hmm.
This may well have been the very last episode of Callan. But
Could
there
have
was
been.
a little bit of a campaign under the title of Callan Lives. And they suddenly thought, well, we better make it in colour then. So next week, we're in colour. We're in season 3. There's some changes.
Oh, yes.
You're going to get Patrick Moore as Cross, who's going to be a pain in Callan's ass. A new Hunter, who's a bit of a shadow of his former self. That was a really good joke as well. I don't know. But this is... I have a lot of trouble criticising Callan because I enjoy it too much. And I can't find anything to criticise on with this. You are wondering, what the fuck's going on here? Is he actually under arrest? And then you realise, no, it's the Russians.
They do a really clever
Or the other
job
side.
of whipping him back and forth, where you think that maybe this really is Division 3 and there's actually an investigation because it's a mole hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you figure there at the end, oh no, actually this has been a mind screw the whole time.
Yep.
And those things did happen in intelligence operations back in the day, and maybe still do, but like they were a real rarity. But wow, that's how you set them up, baby. Good God Almighty. Woo. Sexy.
So let's turn to Dr. Sinister, who's sat just there. Hello. What did you make of Callan? The death of a hunter.
Yeah, halfway through, when all the mind fuckery was going on, and I suddenly started thinking about the title, Death of a Hunter, and I thought maybe Callan's going to turn it around and kill the guy who's pretending to be Hunter.
Oh, yes, nice.
Yeah, but then no, of course, things, he barges into Hunter's office and blows him away, and, considering they used to be friends, that's a bit, wow.
Right. He kills his friend too. That's the stank on it, right? The icing on the cake there.
Yeah, it was interesting how you could sort of see his captives. They were sort of developing the scenario. They couldn't crack him, so they'd push on a bit further and develop it further and say, oh, you've got to do this thing right now. We're desperate. We've got hours to save the Russian president or whatever. And then, of course, at the end, the Russian president left 3 days ago.
Yeah. You've completely lost track of time.
He's completely lost track of time. He's been away for a week. He doesn't realize it,
That's the point you have to ask yourself, right? Were they intending to have him assassinate Hunter the whole time?
Yes.
Or were they just going to break him, get what they could out of him, and then dump him or something? Or
I think this whole thing was set up from the very start. This is exactly what they wanted to do.
Because you don't build intel ops piecemeal like that. Not ahead. I don't know what else to call it. Mindfuck like that. Yeah.
At the end of this episode, I had to find out what happened next, so I've started watching the next one already.
Were you shocked by the colour?
No, it's fine. I haven't watched all of it yet, but I'm.
Where else would I go?
This has a big impact.
And then,
well, so did Callan's bullets.
Again, someone they realize how much Lonely means to him, and they try and trip him up by pretending to shoot Lonely out of the room, and it's. But Callan must have had some serious training to resist all of this.
Yeah, well, eventually he
doesn't.
But the way they twist it,
he doesn't. But
they
after
twist
a week
it to make him think he has.
Yeah, after a week of drugs and interrogation and all sorts, he finally snaps. But
he snaps the way that they want him to snap to do the thing they
There
want
is
them to do.
training. There's training you can get to resist stuff like this. I went through SEER school and just jungle environment survival
So
training.
much is it's so much explained right there.
Well, you get to be a POW for a while, but I mean, no amount of training they're going to give you is really going to help you resist being drugged for a week, right? If the core of Kaladin's soul wasn't this, basically, then
That's fair. That's fair.
he never would have survived that. But you hear him when he says, "No, I'm going to survive this." Because he says right in the heart of it, because they're kind of surprised he hasn't died yet, right? And he's like, "Oh yeah, why hasn't he broken yet?" And all, and they're like, "Damn, this isn't working out how we want." And he's like, I'm going to survive this, right? Because fuck you guys, that's what it is.
And that's what
him,
they
his
ended
heart
up
and
using
soul.
against him.
Exactly, and that's where I think they got the bite on him that let them figure out how to manipulate him. But also, it's what kept him alive, and what it drives a lot of later series too. But we're not going there, so
Yet.
yeah.
All
But
right.
it's
Well, did you enjoy this one?
Yeah.
Sausage?
I won't be sad. I won't be sad to be out of black and white.
I am actually. What about you, Sausage? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Fair enough. What about you, Brian?
One of the
Regretting
best
it?
episodes ever.
I couldn't have given a shit.
No.
this
I've given up.
This and what was
I've
the most
just given
promising
up.
girl of a year? I thought were just such great episodes, but they have some
Yes.
where they just keep getting better though as the show goes on. They really do crush it.
And it comes to a definitive end as well.
I love the extendable breath weapon on your mini Godzilla. That's just awesome.
Right.
Too bad it wasn't blue, but still, yeah.
Okay.
Does he have the rocket hand?
They shoot off a bang thing. Yeah.
No, one of his hands turns, the other one doesn't.
Yeah, that's the
He's-
hand that used to shoot out.
Yeah.
Oh.
On the big one, right? Yeah.
And the big one.
On the Mecha Godzilla one too, you could shoot both of the hands off. I remember that, and I think it had missiles on the head, if I remember, little red missiles, right? Oh God, the toys of our youth. Woo!
Anyway,
Boy, would I give for a big wheel my size right now, just to kind of try and do those
Anyway.
crazy donuts and shit with.
next week we are into season 3 of Callan. We're into colour. Like I say, we've got Patrick Mower. There is no Toby Mears because he's gone back to 1940s Germany to become an evil bastard of a German prison guard in Colditz, which is something I want to do at some stage, gentlemen. Not the board game, though. The board game could be fun. So next week is, if I've got this right, called Where Else Would I Go? It is a new beginning, but it's not one you need to fear. Nothing much is going to change.
A new body at
At
last.
Yeah, so next week we're looking at the Daleks, aka the mutants, aka the dead planet, aka the survivors, aka fuck off! Make your mind up! What else are we doing? Let me think for a moment. A big finish.
AKA Serial Flea.
Right.
I will end you. A big finish of some description. I have no idea what's next. And then there's another thing as well. Oh, another Space Above and Beyond episode. We've got Brian's
Which is
review of something.
definitely 100 million% the Angriest Angel next week.
Yes.
Okay. Brian hopefully will review something else for us.
I'll see what I got.
I'm enjoying them, seriously. It's nice to have
There's a lot
thrown
of
in.
things that I can watch.
No, I'm absolutely cool.
Oh, you know what I just got a hold of? The 2004 TNT miniseries of Salem's Lot, starring Rob Lowe.
Oh, no, that would be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Because I loved the David Soul thing.
Yeah, the David Soul one was pretty good, but
I mean,
the
it does creak a bit nowadays.
the Rob Lowe wasn't a bad one though.
And the book
It was
superb.
it was closer to the book, really.
As Brian and Spanky have done single reviews,
Yes.
can I do a quick one about Andor this week?
Yes,
Of course.
No spoilers
Yes.
though.
Absolutely.
So we have had episode 9 of Andor this week.
Mhm.
Andor himself is trapped in an Imperial factory prison where they walk around with no shoes, and if they do things wrong, they are punished by an electrified floor. And he's basically trying to work how he's going to get out. I'm not going to ruin the ending of the episode, but it's
No.
a very, very powerful ending to this episode. Andy Serkis is in it. And the final line, he's got Andy Serkis's character has got this whole mini story arc going on.
Yeah.
And the final line of this episode,
Yeah.
basically is a complete about turn for his character, and it's bloody brilliant. And then we got this ISB lady called Dedra Miro, and at the start you were kind of rooting for her because she was having these internal conflicts with people within the ISB, the Imperial Security Bureau. She's basically hot on the heels of essentially what is going to become the Rebel Alliance. It's very early days. It's individual rebel cells at the moment, and she's trying to track down this one individual. And as I say, at the start of the series, you were kind of almost rooting for her because she was kind of the underdog in this whole organization. But fuck me, she is a bitch. She's now got the power she wanted, and she is torturing people left, right, and center in a particularly gruesome way. It's not physical torture, it's mental torture. And
They're not being made to watch Married with Children, are they?
they're being made to listen to something.
Married with Children.
No, they're basically.
So I'm trying to use American references for the boys.
This isn't.
It's the
This isn't
Yoko
really-
Ono solo album.
No.
This isn't really, so this isn't really a spoiler, but it turns out the backstory goes that the Empire wanted to establish a fueling depot on a planet somewhere, and the local natives didn't want them there. So the Imperials had them all exterminated and recorded it as proof that they'd done the job. A couple of days later, some people were playing back the recordings and were later found cowering under a console. The death screams of this particular race of aliens send you insane. And the Imperial scientists have isolated the particular death screams of children of this alien race and are playing them back to people to totally break them in torture sessions. It's fucking horrible.
Dark. Jesus.
Yeah,
that's
that sounds like the Sith.
Yeah.
This is a really dark series, and next week we are probably going to get the climax of this particular little arc, and we've then got two episodes left, which is going to be the final arc of this series.
Which is
And
the
then
one
we've got-
that will have the Mandalorian in?
He's not in it. We've got no space wizards. We've got no magical soldiers who can do flying things. This is
Holy
I've said
Hobo?
this before. This is
Holy
Star
Hobo.
Wars at Star Wars at gutter level.
It's essentially
no
the Daredevil and
happy-go-lucky
Luke
Luke
Cage of the
Skywalker
Star
trash,
Wars.
you know.
Sorry, Spanky, what was that?
There's no happy-go-lucky Luke Skywalker trash. That's
No,
my understanding
no,
right now.
there-
This is
there's no
all
happy-go-lucky
like
Luke
French partisans in World War II kind of shit, right?
We've seen in one episode how terrifying a single TIE fighter can be, right? We've got people who will be doing rebel activities who will die. We haven't really seen stormtroopers yet, but there's basically everything is terrifying.
Does it go into the Clone War basically, or what? Like,
Uh,
where is this
there's a
based
big-
on that?
There's
Way
a brief
before.
flashback. There's a brief flashback to some clones on the planet Ferrix. Again, not really a spoiler. Andor's adopted father, they're all lined up watching the clones marching down as it basically the Empire's just taken over. So it's just after the Empire's been formed. They've still got some clones left, right? And a bunch of people run out into the street and start throwing rocks at them. And Andor's adopted father goes out into the street and says, "Whoa, hey guys, stop doing that. It's not cool." And the Imperials see him and they have him executed because they think he's one of them. Basically, a lot of people in this story are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Story of life, isn't it? Well, there we go. Look at that. We're chock-a-block with reviews this week.
Which Doctor Who episode are we doing this coming week?
The Daleks, the second Doctor Who story.
7 parts. Is it 7 or 6?
7 parts.
7, yeah.
And it's fucking gorgeous. Oops, spoilers. Yeah. So that's it for this week's show.
There we go. Okay, it's posted.
All right. So, like I say, next week, the Daleks, A Big Finish. Brian, what was it again you were going to look at?
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot, the Rob Lowe one.
Man, I'm going to watch that.
And
That series of film.
Good. It was good.
Space Above and Beyond.
Rutger Hauer's The
And
Vampire.
also, where else would I go? Or
And
could
Donald
I go?
Sutherland, too.
From Callan.
From Callan?
You're doing talking again, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
I've warned you about that before.
Doesn't stick.
A silent spanky is a good spanky.
Yeah. So I've heard.
It's not going to happen.
You never see how much trouble I
Look,
get into
it's
when
a
I'm being quiet.
scientific theory, all right? It's never been proven.
Are you saying Spanky should be seen and not heard?
That's
I'd quite
be
like
the best,
both,
yeah.
actually. Not seen, not heard. All right, we're going to go. We haven't got Two Fan Dinosaurs next Friday. Is there Thaco Gaming next Saturday?
Maybe.
Okay.
Not sure yet.
Okay. So we'll be back definitely for next Sunday's Flash and Blade. My birthday's coming up, viewers. I expect cake. And yeah, I can't think of anything else except to...
the 9th or the 19th. I forgot. You told me. It had a 9 in it, didn't it?
19th. It's a
19th.
Saturday.
That's my birthday. Yeah. That's quite right, Retta. Yeah. So all it really remains to be done, I suppose, is say goodbye, boys.
Bye,
Goodbye,
boys.
Boys.
And Lilibet, you've got our love and we're here for you.
Dark light. It goes crazy.
I will slap the back of your legs.
Please.
I will.
Enjoy that.
Lilibet,
You'll enjoy that.
you know what I'm trying to say, Lilibet. I'll see you later.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.
Your John Levine is not important.